Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods.
Hey everybody, welcome back. After that clip and a few more I'm going to show you, it does appear that Canada, Mexico, and the EU are now unified against the U.S. president.
But the EU has been told it will be next. This was Donald Trump on Friday.
Am I going to impose tariffs on the European Union? Absolutely. Absolutely. The European Union has treated us so terribly.
It's quite a backdrop to Starmer's first visit to EU leaders in Brussels.
And the problem is that they all have an option to not have to deal with him. And that option is China. And China's being tariffed also. All four countries stand to be the victors when avoiding most of the American tariffs and building new allies. Now, we've heard number 47 rail up against the fact that China is in Mexico and in Panama, and they're doing an outreach program that's reaching the rest of the world as we alienate our allies.
The percentage is going to go pretty equally. So the United States is talking about 25%, and they're going to really try and punish U.S. exporters to Mexico in the same kind of level. So already there's been predictions that if this happens, Mexico will go into recession, within a few months of this trade war going into effect. And you'll see, you have about $500 billion worth of trade. Mexico is, in fact, the biggest trade partner with the United States in the world now, bigger than China or Canada.
One by one, and now in a rather large group. I mean, I can't remember in all my years when Canada, Mexico, most of the EU, and China didn't like us. And on top of it, Putin's sitting back. If any of you are watching any of the clips from Russian TV that you can get from the American Middle Eastern groups like Al Jazeera and that, they're kind of mocking the hell out of us because of him. I warned you all to keep your eyes on the ball because most of this is smoke and mirrors. Trump is going to push the world economy, and he's going to cause a problem where he's going to drive probably Mexico, one of our best allies around. Yeah, we've got a border problem with them, and we've got a drug fentanyl problem with them. We don't need to drive their economy under and chase even more of their people out of their country into our country. He doesn't understand that a lot of the people coming across the border illegally are trying to escape where they are for fear of their lives and the economy. So yeah, go ahead and crush the Mexican economy, which is doing quite good right now and is holding a lot of people back. They're keeping them down there. No, let's go ahead and crush them so that more people want to come across the border. There's less effort on the other side to stop the flow into the United States. But I digress. Putin and Xi and the rest of the fascist dictators all around the world are sitting back watching. And it makes me question a few things. Instead of getting angry, I sit back and think, what's the motivation? Why do we want to do this? And I keep going back to keeping my eye on the ball. He's got Elon, who just did something very important for him. And I'm not even sure that a lot of this has gotten out. There's been clips on the news, but I don't know if all of you are seeing it.
News here, the highest ranking career official at Treasury and the guy who was previously serving as the acting Treasury Secretary is now out after a clash with Elon Musk and his allies because they wanted access to sensitive payment systems that distribute about $6 trillion in U.S. government payments.
I don't know if you've gotten tired of listening to it. I hope not. We need to keep our eye on the ball. We need to keep listening. We need to know where our enemies are. Keep our friends close and our enemies closer. Elon forcefully has taken over the United States Treasury database and gotten rid of the head of the Treasury. He now has access to the information contained within the U.S. database of $6 trillion annually, including Social Security, Medicare, our tax refunds, payments to other government contractors. He now has access to all of that information. Why did Elon make that move while Donald's out really beating up the rest of our allies? That seems to be floating around in the background. Not many people are asking a whole lot of questions about that, and it makes me wonder. I ask questions. What's Elon need with yours and my banking information, our federal tax returns, and the payment systems for the U.S. government? Unless he's planning on doing something with it. And I don't think he's trying to do it alone. I don't think that Elon has that much motivation that he would want to go out and do that alone. None of that information is going to help Tesla. None of that information is going to help SpaceX, and none of it's going to put money in Elon's pocket. So why would he want that information? Okay, what does Doge need with that information? Because honestly, I don't think Doge exists. It's just an excuse to go in and start taking over people's offices. I'm curious if number 47 might be just trying to make a serious bid to take over the U.S. and the U.S. economy during a manufactured tariff war and use the pretense of protecting his America First agenda to start violating the U.S. Constitution. What are the odds that he would declare a national state of emergency or declare the use of the wartime acts? That puts a lot of restrictions on we the people. Why does he need our information for our banking? Why does he need our tax information? And why does he want to start a war, a global war? I was almost positive he would have backed out by now. I was positive that the minute that Trudeau and Scheinbaum and the ministers from the Economic Union, the European Economic Union, put up the big front and put up the big, hey, we're not going to take this, we're going to tariff you back, that he would say in the background, oh, I negotiated with him on a glorious, wonderful phone call. It was a great phone call, and he backs out by turning everything down. It's now very late on Sunday night as I'm recording this. The EU and Canada and Mexico have made very stern statements that they are not going to back down, and they have now united against us. That's three rather large economic groups that have decided that they don't like doing business with us. They're going to take their ball and bat, and they're going to go home and find another game to play. What is that going to do to the American economy? It's another question I have. If they just decide to stop doing business with us, like Donald has decided to stop doing business with them. By the way, it was the USMCA that he negotiated, that wonderful negotiation, that glorious negotiation that he said was better than NAFTA. His deal, his words, he has now violated with the two main parties of that. Who's going to trust this guy ever to do business with him ever again on a global economic scale? I know I wouldn't, I mean, I'm nobody, but I'd have to look at that and go, yeah, he doesn't pay his contractors, and his word can't be held. It can't be trusted. So again, why does he want to start this? Why does Elon need the information about all the money from the federal government and its people like us? And why does he want to keep this going? Conflict, division, hatred, and anger are his tools. They have been since his first administration. They're still out there. He's railing against DEI as being the main cause on the crashes, the airline crashes this weekend, when he hasn't got a clue. Yeah, he gets briefings from people, but like we knew from the first administration, he doesn't listen to many of them. They stopped giving them to him. They started giving him books with pictures in it. Does anybody else smell the stench of a dictator in the air? I'm just asking questions here because I've got some serious questions as to why he hasn't backed out yet. Nobody in their right mind is going to go up against four other countries, one of them being one of the biggest in the world, China. Okay, why would you go up against these people? He has to know that he doesn't have that kind of power. He can't band against China, who just signed an alliance with Russia, and then try and take on our northern neighbor, our southern neighbor, and our eastern neighbor across the pond. Well, that kind of puts us surrounded, because if you know what the globe looks like, it's Canada to the north, Mexico to the south, China to the west, and the EU to the east. yeah, Custard stood a better chance of surviving his stand than Donald Trump can. I'm asking questions. If you've got any ideas, if you've got any reason that you can tell me why he would want to do this, put them in the comments down below, because, dear God, I can't find a rational reason he wants to do this. Well, if conflict, division, and hatred and anger are the tools of his trade, resistance is the name of the tools of we the people. All we can do is keep it up. All we can do is talk to our politicians. All we can do is protest the way we can with our votes and with peaceful demonstrations, if that's what it takes. I hate to end the podcast on a note like this tonight, but I have questions. I wanted to see if anybody else had answers. I don't want to just sit in my own echo chamber here with my family, with my friends, with the people that I talk politics with. I want some fresh information. Please put something down in the comments. I would absolutely love it. I would thank you greatly. With that, thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to all the people that are watching me. Thank you to all the countries and cities that just astound me whenever I look at my analytics. I really do appreciate it. With that, folks, I'm going to wish you a wonderful evening. By the time you see this, it'll be Monday morning. I hope you have an excellent Monday. Have a great day, and thank you.